Tyler Ellison, and I'm joined by the legendary, amazing Yahaira Vargas. Yahaira, thanks for being here. How are you doing
Thank you.
today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing the best I can. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. That is all we can ask for, and I'm psyched to hear it.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody who's tuning in. This is really nice that we get to have these regular weekly live streams across multiple platforms. In a second, we're actually about to be going live right on TikTok as well. So we are really having fun with this whole social media expansion that we're creating. Our goal really is to make sure that these teachings and esoteric information can access whomever is asking for them. For there's many of us early in our spiritual awakening whom are asking for guidance, whom are asking for insights. And our role is to ensure that these types of insights and these forms of guidance can get to all types of people whom otherwise, if we didn't have these wonders of the internet, wouldn't be able to receive them. So, you guys watching, you guys sharing, you guys subscribing, hitting the like button and commenting, all of that helps this world continue to grow. And it would not be what it is without all of you. So, I thank you for everything that you share, not just with me, but with those in your lives, because the energies that we are consuming, that we are taking in from these higher dimensions, are the universal medicine that's here to help lift humanity up and is here to help humanity heal very ancient wounds that some of us are still carrying. So, as we continue to imbibe in these frequencies, as we continue to pull in the energies of earth down to heaven, as we continue to do this, we set the stage for people in our lives to feel better, for our hearts to open, and for new ideas, higher levels of intelligence to then be available to you and to all beings. Because as Albert Einstein has said, you cannot solve a problem from the same level that the problem exists upon. You must elevate yourself, and you do that through knowledge. The more knowledge you possess, the higher of a vantage point you will have. So you can intelligently and lovingly strategize and solve the problems, overcome the challenges that are a part of your journey and are a part of all of our journeys. As we grow together. So I thank you for growing with us. So in today's live stream, we're going to be doing some trance channeling. I'm going to be bringing Ryokah forth, and you are all going to be able to ask him questions. So Yahaira has like 1,000 eyes in a certain way. She's looking at YouTube, she's looking at the TikTok, she's looking at the Facebook. So your questions will be selected, and we can't select everybody, of course, because there's probably going to be a bunch of questions, but we will do our best to make sure we observe the questions that you're submitting and respond to them so you can get some cool answers and have more ideas as to how you can flow forth in your river of life. With that being said, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and get into the altered state. I'm going to be bringing Ryokah through, and we are going to be going for just about a half hour. So we have 30 minutes to dive in to the Q&A. So my friends, enjoy yourselves, be well, and as always, thank you for your support and your epicness. Yo. 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 Oh. 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 Yeah. All right, we thank you for co-creating this specific interaction with me, with my people, this day of your time. You are now experiencing collectively a deeper level of immersion into what you would consider to be the shadow, the unconscious. Now, keep in mind that in the past, when you have accessed the shadow, when you had accessed the unconscious, it had been as if you were jumping in to the ocean at night, going deep into the darkness, uncertain of where it would end, if ever. Your collective shadow, your collective unconscious is transforming at a rather accelerated rate. This has to do with certain energies that you are summoning forth collectively, consciously and unconsciously. And it is allowing for your shadow, for the waters of the subconscious, to radically transform themselves. Instead of the shadow, the unconscious, being like the infinite ocean, it is beginning to transform in such a way where it is now more similar to a type of moonlit lagoon with bioluminescent algae and microbes that create the appearance of pixels of light within the water as you swim, as you explore, and as you find the buried treasure or the submerged treasure within the self that is the true self and the gifts, the splendor, the wisdom that it is here to offer. For that is the treasure within. Our role is to simply reflect that, for we have, in a sense, discovered our treasure already, and you could say we have struck gold, for it is an infinite treasure. And the more the self is explored, the more the self is refined, the more of that gold you will find. So, we are so pleased with your species' rate of evolution. As we scan the energy, we can see many of you have been taking the initiative in your lives, becoming the main character in your story, so to say, no longer being passive, no longer sitting in the background, no longer waiting for things to happen. We see you opening the doors. We see you summoning the beings. We see you casting the spells that cause reality to shape shift in individual and collective ways. Continue on these paths you're walking, for we are here to remind you, you are making real-time progress that we are able to measure, that we are able to perceive. We are speaking, of course, to those that are watching this live stream, but those whom we are addressing this message to are by no means limited to the live stream attendees. So we thank you for taking that information in, for allowing it to assimilate in the ways that you have. And now we make ourselves open and available to you for the sharing of your queries, your interests, your dreams.
Greetings, Ryokah.
And greetings to you as well, dear hosts of hosts. How are you this day?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
We are quite well, delighted by the ever-present spiral of life.
So we have an interesting question here. Can you give us more information about dimension 0?
Sure. So dimension 0 is sometimes referred to as the 0 point. It represents the closest, you could say, flavor of what you would classify as non-existence. But of course, non-existence does not exist, so it cannot be dimension 0. Yet the qualities of dimension 0 mirror quite well what you would conceive as a state of nothingness or non-existence. In your Kabbalistic understandings, the 0 point has 3 layers and levels within it. You have the single 0, the double 0, the triple 0, forming a type of upward or downward pyramid depending on how you organize these zeros. For example, the apex would be the single 0, the middle layer of the pyramid, the double 0, the base of the pyramid, the triple 0. In your Kabbalistic understandings, you sometimes refer to this as the Ein Sof, and the Ein Sof Or. So we will elaborate on this briefly. That single zero, that technically is the triple zero, the most core expression of nothingness. That center point that is the triple zero. This represents a domain that reflects with accuracy everything that is not. So, in your reality, the reality of infinite expression, you are experiencing all that is. At that level of the triple zero, which exists as the heart or the holy trinity of dimension zero, that level reflects all that is not. It's your closest understanding to nothingness and of non-existence. We say it's your closest understanding, it's your closest comparison, because you cannot experience true non-existence. It does not exist. Therefore, how could there be a being present to experience it? That being would also have to not exist. And if you say, well, they must exist in some other layer and level of reality, we just call it non-existence, well, then it's not a true non-existence. It's still another layer and level of existence. So this triple zero point is the closest experience, is the closest understanding to your concepts of nothingness and non-existence. Think of that triple zero point, the center of the zero dimension, as a type of infinite ocean of everything that is not. And within the center point of that ocean, the non-existent energies of all that is not begin to gather together. It's as if a type of gravitational suction or pull is created within the center of this infinite ocean of all that is not. And these powers, these energies, begin to coalesce and condense within that center point. It's like the gravitational pull of it causes the energy of the zero dimension to gather into the center. This is the power of the double zero, what is sometimes referred to as the Ein Sof in your Kabbalistic understandings. This type of gravitational pressure creates a compacting effect. It packs all of that energy in, and a pressure is built that then causes a type of light to be emitted. And you call this light in your Kabbalistic texts the Ein Sof, or this is the single zero. And this light then permeates the zero dimension, filling the dimension of zero so that it evolves its next level that you would consider to be dimension 1. On your Kabbalistic tree of life, this would be the sphere of Keter, the monad, the abode of the source as it expresses within your material universe. So the luminosity, the light of dimension 1 of Keter is empowered and is fueled by this infinite light that emanates from dimension 0, that is released through that nothingness compressing into everything.
Next question. What was the Holy Grail, and how King Arthur managed to use it to unite the Round Table?
We will describe it in a following way. The Holy Grail is a certain reference to the anatomical structures that you classify as the womb. The Holy Grail, in that way, was describing a metaphorical depiction of what you would consider to be the higher spirit. 4 masculine archetypes the upper spiritual dimensions are oftentimes personified in a feminine way to create balance. So in the male, you could say, being interacts with the spirit realm, they're able to do so in a way that complements their masculine nature, and in a sense also encourages their sense of attraction to the higher realms. So the Knights of the Round Table accompanying King Arthur, being male, being masculine in that sense, experienced a type of collective immersion with those higher realms, and the representative of those higher realms took on a type of form that you would consider to be that of a feminine angel. The Holy Grail, in that sense, is a reference to the birth portal that can summon forth any type of being, that can also be used alchemically to transform the body's substances into higher vibrational substances. So the Holy Grail is an alchemical reference when it is utilized within either male or female beings as an energy. It allows for the great work or the alchemy of the self to be created, which furthers one's evolution and enlightenment. That in turn is enough to unite the realms. But also, the members of the Round Table had a very strong spiritual connection, had a very strong spiritual mission, and that allowed for them to access the collective mind of the divine in a way that really embodied and demonstrated its feminine power, which would inspire them, which would nurture and nourish them, creating a balancing energy, because their lives, of course, were one of conquest, one of liberation. Their world was brutal. So this feminine relationship with the source, with the spirit, allowed for them to bring those nurturing, cooling, yin, feminine experiences and expressions of energy into their lives.
Next question. Can you say anything about Big Ben, the bug clock in London skipping time yesterday? Is there a cosmic reason behind it?
Sure. Sure. It is representing that your collective relationship with time is shifting in a way where you too are able, in a sense, to skip time. Remember, the passage of time is the shifting through numerous parallel realities billions of times per second. It has been described as a type of motion-based comic. Many of you, when you were young, would experience books where if you were to flip the book, images on each page would align in such a way where the flipping of the pages would create the experience of a moving image, sometimes referred to as a flip book or a flip comic. That is very similar to how you are shifting through these different parallel realities. If your vibration becomes accelerated enough, you can skip pages in that flipping. And this is something that's happening. Because remember, you're all time traveling. You're doing it all the time. You are all teleporting, and that you're teleporting from one parallel reality to another. So you are all doing this already, but in a way that is casual for you. You don't really notice it. Well, now your energies are such where it's not being so casual anymore. That inner psychic power that you use to create the seamless unfolding of reality is now being summoned forth into the perspective foreground. So you can see that inner power now mirrored back to you through outer synchronicity. So some of these things will continue. They won't get so extreme as to disorient your species. They will become more and more guided. What you are seeing is the level of human consciousness that you have accessed and its ability to shapeshift and mold the reality in new ways. So things will continue to get more and more malleable, including space and time, as you continue on this evolutionary journey.
Could you explain how to learn vocal channeling ourselves, especially for people who have challenge in visualizing or imagining? Also, how many hours should we meditate daily to achieve it fastly?
Sure. Well, for vocal channeling, the first thing to remember is you're channeling right now. You're channeling certain thoughts, certain feelings, certain words, certain postures and movements. You're doing this all the time. It's a matter of adjusting your radio dial. So instead of channeling the personal aspects of the self, you adjust it so that you channel the higher aspects of the self, the dimensions of you that you usually only access in the deeper stages of meditation and sleep. So channeling is about raising your frequency, shifting your vantage point so you can perceive as a higher dimensional being would. Astral projection is one of the most impactful practices in relationship to channeling, because when you access the astral plane, you experience yourself rising above your body. You see your room, your house, your town, your city, your nation, your planet from increasingly higher and higher points of view. That's the perspective of a higher dimensional being. So, in order to channel these guides, you must become like these guides. That's going to involve raising your frequency. So, channeling is going to be based upon much more than your success in prolonged states of seated meditation. Seated meditation, while it is useful for sharpening the mind and developing one's consciousness, seated meditation does not nourish the astral level. That is where these beings reside. Meditation brings you to the level of the monad, oneness. That's useful. That's good. It's especially useful for your soul's journey after this incarnation. But for channeling, it's not necessarily as useful, because when you are channeling, you're not attempting to unify everything to a single point, yourself included. You're attempting to emphasize the uniqueness of a specific being. So channeling is not necessarily a meditative action. It is a psychic action, and it is your psychic actions that relate to the astral plane. So one answer will not make you a well-developed, well-rounded channel. What we say here is only the tip of the iceberg. It is your dedication, your consistency, your focus, and your repetition of the channeling art that will summon forth your own greatness in that field, in that area. So you control your channeling skills evolution. You do that through your consistency. So the channel teaches this. If you would like to learn from him, he can show you how to access the state. He can show you how to tune into these beings. If you wish to learn on your own, good luck. For that is more or less what he did. It can be bumpier. But hey, a little bit of turbulence in the airplane can make the flight a little more exciting and can cause one to really appreciate the successful landing. So have fun, explore yourself, and be responsible with it. Remember, when you are working with energy, you are working with the very substance that keeps your body alive. When you work with the life force, you're working with your life force. So do be responsible.
Can you talk about the power and energy of taking a stand, be it in your life or in a collective level of standing up for something, freedom, for example?
Sure, it depends on the motivation. People can take a stand out of fear. People can take a stand out of empowerment. Both will create unique effects. Those that take stands out of empowerment, oftentimes the stands they take will be like a mountain. No matter what elements come, they cannot be moved. They choose to move when they're ready, whatever way they see fit. So taking a stand is like creating a certain type of manifestational beaker, or beacon rather, that will summon forth energies to you that are reflective of what you are standing for. Now, keep in mind, because what you put out is what you get back, and because every action will create an equal and opposite reaction, because of this, keep in mind you'll also experience the contrast coming to you. So that will test you. It will test really how steadfast you are in that perspective that you're holding. Sure, while I'm here on my computer posting on social media, I can claim to take a stand about these things. There's no pressure. But when you're in your physical life and you take a stand, there will be pressures. So those pressures that come from the contrast are useful, helps you to become more grounded in your stance, more grounded in your perspective. A person who is taking a stance or to stand from a place of empowerment will also remain open to new understandings, to new information. So the quality of the stand that they're taking will evolve and will shift to match the new information that they receive. That is also important. A person whom takes a stand from fear, well, they are already frightened. Therefore, when that pressure comes, it's likely they'll run away. Furthermore, because the stand they have taken is based in fear, which is a form of powerlessness, despite form being a power, because of this, when those external pressures may come, instead of simply remaining steadfast, they may attempt to dominate. This is what I stand for. Now you must stand for it too. And well, as you know, those people are rather off-putting and are seen as a social nuisance. And rightly so. They're no more than a religious zealot for what they have taken a stand for, or what they have appeared to have taken a stand for. Remember, many people will take stands because it's the socially trendy thing to do. Oh, my political party is saying we must support this. Well, now I stand for this. Oh, my culture is saying I must stand for that. Well, now I stand for that. That's not a stand. No. That is like a parrot that has learned speech, yet has no idea what they're really saying. So stand for truth. Stand for higher love. Stand for true will. These are the only things you need to stand for. They cover all other areas. And the causes, the movements, the conditions that do need someone to stand up for them, you may be that person. But if you do not stand for these things, these three things we have mentioned, you will not be able to stand successfully for any cause on your planet. You'll crumble. Stand for that which is immortal, so you can support the challenges of the mortal world. That is our suggestion for you.
And our last question would be, what does it really mean when people say like vibrations attract each other? Because from a physics perspective, vibrations or waves aren't really capable of attracting each other, only mass is.
They are capable of resonation. They are able to resonate with one another. And that resonance can create an amplification effect, thus making more of those two energies which have begun to resonate with one another. So that still applies in physics. This is a literal thing we're describing. Study music. You'll know what we're talking about.
And that will be all. Thank you so much, Ryokah.
Of course. You're very welcome. We thank you all for joining us this day for this Q&A. This has been so delightful, so exciting to be a part of. And we encourage you, continue to explore the mystery of the self. Allow for yourself to really dive into that shadow dimension. Remember, when the sun begins to set, you do not say, oh no, a shadow. I need to get away from it. It might touch me. Oftentimes you respond with sensations of beauty and appreciation. When we say explore your shadow, we are saying respect and explore the beautiful dimensions to your consciousness. You may see things that perhaps make you uncomfortable when you're looking at the ground that the shadow is projected upon. Sure, you may see some insects or some decomposing leaves. But remember, that adds to the beauty. The powers of death in that way complement the powers of life. The powers of what you would consider to be ugly or repulsive complement the powers of beauty and elegance. So when you see these things, never be put off by them. Appreciate them, because they assist you in complementing the parts of yourself that you naturally do appreciate. So have fun, enjoy, and as always, our species, unconditional love and appreciation to each and every single one of you. Good day. Okay. Excellent. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Hope you had a great time. Good questions. Those were really, really deep questions. You all did not hold back, and I love it. I was not expecting those, and I was so happy to have gotten them. So I hope you enjoyed the answers. I hope you enjoyed Ryokah. I know I certainly do. And thank you for joining me on this wonderful channeling journey. Me and Yahira will see you again quite soon. And for those of you that are coming to our sexual alchemy training tomorrow, I am so excited. We are going to go so deep, and we're going to have such blissful activations, understandings. If you're not a part of that sexual alchemy training and you'd like to learn, I invite you to sign up for our Magnum Opus training program, where you can learn the ins and outs of sexual alchemy, fusing the elements of creation inside of you, creating an immortal body that survives death, and learning how to ascend the entirety of the tree of life. If you like that, you're going to like what we're offering, and we'll probably like you. So come join us. And as always, my friends, have a great day. And Yahira, thanks so much for the hosting. Great to work with you again. We love it.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.